So before I begin my drawing, I would just like to make an impassioned plea for everyone watching this video to learn to play chess, okay? Am I still in focus? Hello friends, fellow artists, and Art League family. This is William McMahon. I'm here on behalf of Art League Online. Today I'm going to be taking you through how to draw a human nose in a general generic manner, part 2. Hope you enjoy the video. Alright, for drawing a nose part 2 from straight on in a general generic manner, I am going to be softening this drawing, making the nose appear more representational and lifelike, and then also more three-dimensional. In part 1 of showing you sort of these different techniques and principles and shapes fitting into shapes and structure of the head, now I'm going to soften this drawing down. So I'm going to be thinking about edges. I'm going to be thinking about stray marks. I'm going to be thinking about making my values softer and making my transitions more smooth and naturalistic. And in terms of making the drawing more three-dimensional, I am going to need to have a thorough understanding of light source in order to be able to make that happen. My light source in this rendering is in the upper left corner. So if my light is coming from my upper left, things that are protruding off the face, the nose is the largest protuberance on the face, are going to be catching highlight. And then things like the nose, the ball of the nose, the nostrils are going to then be casting shadow onto the face. And really, if you think of the nose as being the ball of the nose and then these two sort of semicircles or partial spheres for the nostrils, from this angle, the ball of the nose is going to be sticking out the furthest, and it's actually going to be casting a little shadow onto this nostril to the viewer's right, since the light source is in the upper left. We're going to want rich dark values, bright white values, and a range of grays. So this part here, the bridge of the nose, this is a plane shift. If we think of the bridge of the nose as being 3 distinct planes, one plane, and one plane, I am going to be taking the viewer's eye down this ridge, this side of the nose, using marks that are going to be applied at approximately a 45-degree angle to try to take the viewer down and then flatten back out for the plane of the cheek. Now there should not be a distinct line here going up the bridge of the nose vertically. That's all flesh, but it's going to be a soft transition. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, the upper inner eye socket is going to be the deepest part of the human face that's not an orifice. So I'm going to instinctively lean dark there. Put a little bit even on this side. Even though the light source is coming from the upper left, you're still going to get some shadow there. Contour blending on this nostril. Line following form. And although I'm not distinctly making lines, you can still see the direction of the stroke of the pencil. So I'm being mindful of that. Nostrils are going to be orifices. So we are going to push nice and dark there. Now you see I'm using my finger to do some blending. Just softening my lines down, making the transitions even more smooth and subtle, which they are. Instinctively kind of bouncing around the drawing. I want to always progress my drawings as a whole. Some people will dissuade artists from using their finger as blending stumps. Certain people just aren't going to like the blended aesthetic, which I can understand. I'm sort of a line-based artist mainly anyway. I usually rely on hatching and cross-hatching, but I generally advocate for a range of marks in a drawing, and blended value is a mark of sorts. But they also might bring up the fact that there's going to be some degree of natural oil on any person's skin at all times. So you're always kind of running a risk when you put your finger on a drawing that you're going to transfer some sort of oil onto your paper. But I showered a few days ago, so I'm feeling pretty confident. And if you see the different angles in which I'm marking on the page, being someone who relies heavily on hatching and on directional mark making and contour mark making, I'm usually going to be rotating my paper regularly. For the sake of the film, we're keeping the paper stationary. But in general, I would encourage everyone to rotate their paper in order to make marks that are most comfortable. Once you kind of understand principles and realize where values are needing to be assigned and whatnot, don't be timid in rotating your paper. All right, I'm going to use blending stump to further show that soft transition of planes, get a little bit more precision. Go ahead and really try to get rid of this as a line and make it more just a value shift. Cast shadow under there is going to pop the nose forward. Take my mechanical pencil back out to bring in, I've been doing some kind of blending to soften things down. I'm going to come back and reapply some specific hatching. And whenever I'm doing hatching, I'm thinking about how can I inform my viewer in the direction of my mark. Philtrum, teardrop shaped form existing beneath the nose. That's the vertical axis for the lower part of the face. Very important landmark, especially when you're drawing from a 2/3 turn or something like that. Very important landmark. A little pucker on either side, catch highlight. Using my contour marks to take the viewer down into that little recessed area. Again, this would be a time where I would have my paper rotated where I would be marking. This is my preferred mark, down and towards me. So instead of rotating my hand this way, if I were drawing independently, I would have my paper rotated because I know that I need to be building my value in this bottom right corner because my light source is coming from the upper left and the ball of the nose is like a sphere. So that would be an instance where I would be rotating my paper. I try to even leave a little reflective highlight here. Doesn't need to be a bright white, even if you don't observe it, just to kind of try to show the viewer the thickness of the flesh of the nostrils. We don't want to think of nostrils as being paper thin. Try to get a soft gray. Then I'm going to come in with my Tombow and I'm going to get some distinct highlights. I'm going to make sure that I'm showing the viewer that the ball of the nose from this angle is beyond this nostril. Then with cast shadow from the ball of the nose onto the nostril itself, even though they're kind of connected forms. Just get in the habit of instinctively pushing darks underneath a nose to pop it forward. Now I'll come through, use my Tombow, Mono Zero Eraser. And as I'm concluding this demonstration video on the art of drawing a general generic human nose from straight on, I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time to check it out. Please consider subscribing to our channel, Art League Online. We are working very diligently to put out consistently informative and entertaining videos. Please consider checking out videos by my dear friend Rio David, Scott Merrill, and other Art League instructors. We really appreciate any likes, any comments. Really means a lot. Hope everyone is continuing to draw, and I'll look forward to catching everyone in the next demonstration video. Take care.